breath of the man that is going to be your new president of the Academy. Dr. Woods has been involved in the affairs of the Academy for a number of years now, so he's very well suited to be the president and to work closely with David Weistub, who's himself worked relentlessly over the years to maintain a high level of achievement and presentation and scientific knowledge and intellectual discussions, and I'm sure that both of them will fare well together and prepare us for the next Congress. So, the symbolic gesture wants me to give you this medal, which is the symbol, and now I'm no president anymore, but you are the president.
It's quite an honor to stand here before you. I'd like to thank the Academy for affording me this opportunity to be with you and to serve you. I'd like to spend a moment to talk about mentors and friends. Mentors and friends. When I think about being here, I think, of course, about Professor David Weistub, who has paralleled our relationship with the relationship of the Academy, with his vibrancy, with his thoughtfulness, and with his rigor. And David, I appreciate that so much. I'd also like to thank my closest friend. I always say my brother, but in some ways it's hard to describe our relationship, John Burris and his wife Cheryl. Our walks around the lake for the last 40 years have meant so much to me, allowed me to grow in ways and learn in ways that I would have never learned before. And last, I'd like to thank my shadow, my wife of 45 years. You are my shadow and I'm your shadow, Deborah. I love you very much. The achievement at this moment is really colored by the responsibility of this moment. And the responsibility is to continue to develop in the Academy that energy, that expertise, and that rigor that really is what we are about. And I sum this up in 3 terms: knowledge, culture, and service. But I have to digress for a minute because these were not my ideas. These really were the ideas of a client of mine, and I wanted to talk just a moment about it. His name is Dr. Sy, was Dr. Sy. He died this weekend. He was 99. He's been my client for about 15 years. He's a brilliant man, a brilliant psychiatrist who about 20 years ago went blind. And part of our relationship over that time has been me reading to him, reading the latest journals, reading to him other types of information, philosophy. We talk a lot. He's taught me a lot. And in the last 6 months or so, I've been reading him poetry. And as you may or may not know, David is an amazing poet as well. And I've been reading him for about a month, some of David's poems. The last poem I read to him, I want to read to you. The name of it is Reggae in Klezmer. You ran naked on earthen floors, shared a bed with 3 generations, were told to pray when you were hungry, ate well only at funerals, lived in the marketplace without pay, made music from the sky, refused to eat the family goat, even in famine. He loved that. And we talked so much because even though his name was Sy, T-S-A-I, and he was Chinese, he was born in Jamaica. And we talked so much about other things, and he was the one that gave me this idea of knowledge, culture, and service, because that's how he ran his practice. And what does each one of these mean to us? We are a knowledgeable group. When you look around and you see the brilliance we have in this room, the brilliance that's been cultivated over the last 34 years, we are stronger academically and intellectually than we have ever been. There are people in this room that know things, and that's all of us. And yet that knowledge is really bound by culture. This group is a rich palette of cultures from all over the world, so many different languages. What I love about this group is that it has not only the diversity of ethnicity, of gender, language, culture, but also discipline. And so we share that and we fertilize each other as we grow and listen and learn. But that knowledge and that culture is useless without service. And if we don't use that knowledge and that culture to serve, then we're wasting it. We're not doing the good that we can that will make us even more strong in our science, that will make us even more thoughtful in our approach to each other. So my responsibility during this time is to grow that knowledge, to embrace these cultures, and to serve. And if there's any way that I can help you, and please, I'm asking you to help me do that, I would appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.
You start falling into good company. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, Mitglieder der Akademie und Gäste, guten Abend. Im Namen der Internationalen Akademie für Recht und mentale Gesundheit möchte ich dem Rektor dieser berühmten Institution meine Anerkennung zum Ausdruck bringen. Der Name Freud-Universität weist uns schon auf die Wurzeln des Studiums des mentalen Gesundheit und Krankheit hin, was die Hälfte unseres Auftrages beinhaltet, während die andere Hälfte das Recht betrifft. Vielen Dank für Ihre Gastfreundschaft. I could note that Vienna has a very personal association for me. The connection is that my parents met and married here, and in 1937 came to the US, but the connection goes deeper than that. One of Freud's circle, one of his trainees, was Wilhelm Stekel, a pioneer in what was called at that time active analysis. And one of Stekel's trainees was my father, who later served as a colleague and translator. This is psychoanalyst Emil Gutheil. He served Stekel as an analyst colleague and finally as translator of Stekel's writings. So if you read Stekel in English, the odds are heavily that it's my father's translation. These facts allow me to joke that I'm 3 generations down from Freud. Whatever the genealogy, it's wonderful to visit the ancestral city, and I look forward to an exciting conference. I want to acknowledge 2 people. One is Joe Kim, who has tolerated, I think it's probably the best verb, all of us for all this period of time with aplomb, calm, and information, and I think she deserves an absolutely enthusiastic hand. Finally, I must acknowledge a long and gratifying relationship with David Weistep going back to the very early days of the Academy. In working with him in connection with meetings, the journal, and shared projects, my respect for his many contributions has continued to grow. Our exciting collaboration in the Harvard's Program in Psychiatry and Law and the Harvard-Montreal Research Alliance was a high point of the relationship. If I wanted to find one phrase that would capture his eminence in both law and mental health, taking into account his voluminous writings and readings, it would be, David is on top of it. This exceptional meeting should illustrate the accuracy of that summary. Thank you.